We project a lot of human ideas onto the top of the food chain. We look at a full-grown lion and see a king, untouched and in complete control of its environment. This creates an assumption of apex privilege. We naturally think that being the biggest, most lethal animal in a biome guarantees a life of relative luxury and biological ease. But the math of the wild tells a very different story. Nature operates as a rigged numbers game, where the heavyweights face odds just as insurmountable as the animals they eat. This chart compares the actual likelihood of reaching adulthood for classic prey animals against apex predators. Notice that the data lines for survival are virtually identical. Every position on the food chain operates as an equal opportunity gauntlet, requiring a relentless, daily struggle just to stay alive. For a prey animal like a wild horse, the baseline state of existence is simple. You begin and end your life as an item on a menu. Surviving that reality requires a state of permanent hypervigilance. Remaining constantly terrified drains massive amounts of caloric energy, which directly stunts the physiological development of a growing foal. You might assume acquiring fangs and claws solves this, but that introduces the paradox of the micro-predator. Take the smallest wild cat in the world. Being a tiny carnivore means you have to hunt aggressively in the open, while simultaneously trying to evade literally everything larger than a small bush. The constant movement creates a massive caloric debt. Because of their hyperactive metabolism, missing even a single meal accelerates them toward rapid starvation. For the small and the hunted, survival is a heavy tax paid entirely in perpetual anxiety and physiological exhaustion. Those facts make sense for the small guys, but surely saltwater crocodiles and king cobras enjoy the perks of their invincible, deadly reputations. Tracking a crocodile clutch over 12 months reveals a grim reality. Entering the world so small, mortality hits 99%. Hatchlings are routinely eaten by birds, mammals, and insects. But the sharpest drop is interspecies predation. They are cannibalized by larger crocodiles. Mammals face a different set of invisible hardships. We romanticize the pack dynamics of the African lion, framing the pride as a tight-knit monarchy. In reality, sustaining a pride requires immense caloric intake in environments where prey is highly scarce, and systematic killing of the young by adult males. When a new male overthrows the previous leader, he executes the existing cubs. This grim biological logic stops the females from nursing and immediately triggers their receptivity to mate with him instead. Existing at the top of the food chain is a daily nightmare of friendly fire, of chronic starvation, and inescapable family violence. Some animals try to bypass the fight entirely through hyperspecialization, evolving a highly specific, almost magical physical advantage, like the flying snake. This geometric diagram maps the aerodynamic glide path of a flying snake. Flight requires strict adherence to precise wind speeds and launch angles. If a sudden breeze shifts a variable by a fraction, aerodynamics break down, dropping the snake into a fatal freefall. Extreme evolutionary advantages are high-interest biological loans, and carrying them makes daily survival incredibly precarious. When you pull back and look at the whole system, the concept of a hierarchical food chain dissolves into a flat plane of extreme adversity. Every trait we admire, lethal venom, thick armor, blinding speed, or massive size, was forged in a crucible of immense physical suffering and relentless selective pressure. Navigating that intense pressure long enough to reach adulthood in the wild is the extreme statistical exception. These survivors represent the 1% of the 1%, the rare few who navigated the most grueling obstacle course simply by refusing to die.